earned your keep just now. I'm the one that fixed it. I told you what to do. He just did it. We're good. I'll put it here.
Testing right now. Yeah, you guys are good on your end.
I would like to welcome you to the Osceola County School District School Board meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. We are going to start tonight with our invocation by Pastor Abraham Colon of Living Water Fellowship, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Scott Noble, Assistant Superintendent for School Operations, the National Anthem from students with the string quartet from St. Cloud High School. Our mission statement will be read by Dr. Renee Clayton, our Deputy Superintendent for Teaching, Learning, and Leading. Our interpretation services will be by Naira Elvira, Bilingual Community Liaison for Multicultural. If you would please stand.
Good afternoon. If we could bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just come before a throne of grace, Lord. In the midst of so much controversy in this world, Lord, we pray for peace. We pray for peace that surpasses all understanding, and that our minds and our hearts are clear to what the agenda for the school is. I pray, Lord, for each of these board members and the superintendent, Lord Jesus, that you give them the wisdom, the wherewithal to rule, Lord Jesus, with the authority and with God in mind, Lord. So we just thank you for all those that are here today, that you bring a calmness like there's never been before, and that your agenda is foremost and most important, and that you guide everyone here with wisdom as they prepare to protect our children. We give you the honor, we give you the glory, in the name of the Father, the Son, and in the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
you. The mission is inspiring all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
I am Naira Avira and I am here to provide interpretation services in Spanish. Mi nombre es Naira Avira y estoy aquí para proveer interpretación al español.
Please bear with us a moment. We have a board member that is calling in.
Well, he is at a conference that has been planned for 3 months, and when he finishes his session, he's going to be logging in.
Okay, I think we have to vote to allow him to log in virtually today. Yes.
Do we do that now or when he actually is available?
We can't do it now.
But just do it now, and that way it covers whenever he logs in case we don't know.
Motion to allow Melendez into the meeting.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that takes care of that. For positive comments, Dr. Shanoff, I'm going to start with you tonight.
Yeah, so a couple things. First, I want to thank the chair for attending with me the Tiger Bay Club Superintendent Roundtable. Had an opportunity to speak about all the wonderful things that are happening in our school district in the presence of 3 other superintendents from Central Florida. It was a great experience. I think it really raised our visibility, and we were able to really speak to where we're headed as a school district, which I think is a very, very positive trajectory. The other thing is that last week I spent the week with the Florida Association of District School Superintendents. So 67 of us get together, and we talk with each other. We talk about the things that are working out well, and then we also listen to numerous presentations from various leaders from throughout the state. Sometimes they're superintendents, sometimes the chancellor of K-12, sometimes the commissioner comes. This year, or this meeting, we were graced with the presence of Dr. Chris Burns, our arts specialist. So he got a chance to speak about the importance of the arts in schools. And his message, although he was speaking as president of the, and there he is, although he was speaking as president of the Florida Music Education Association, he really did a phenomenal job representing our district, but also representing, I think, what is a very, very proud tradition in Osceola County about the commitment to the arts. And so I want to thank Dr. Burns for participating with the FEDS conference, and he really did a great job. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Melendez, not on the line yet. All right, Mr. Arguello.
Yeah, I wanted to I had a group in mind, but I'm going to change my mind. I wanted to talk a little bit about stuff that's going on today. So I wanted to thank Dr. Shanoff and his bargaining team. The amount of work, I can't talk about what we were doing, but I can say that compared to 2 years ago, we are a world apart. These are people working with a good faith effort, a ton of diligence, hard to make this school district, to bridge the gap between the two parties, right, in an adversarial position and kind of make it good. I think that I haven't seen, over my 3 years, that was the first time I've ever seen bargaining of that nature, people coming up with ideas on how to benefit our educational community to that degree. So I'm very proud that that switch is earth-shattering as far as I'm concerned. I'd also like to thank all the people that are here that are planning on speaking on the resolutions that are coming shortly. Whether you agree or you don't agree, the fact that you're here is worthy of appreciation. I'd also like to say that we had this many people all the time who came, not just on one issue, one resolution that you did or did not like, but if you came here all the time, then you would be holding the people of this district who lead this district more accountable for their failures and successes. And that would create, in and of itself, would create a much better district than we have today. The fact that most of the time this room is empty when we have these meetings is exactly why this district has required so much correction in order to get to a place where we can be proud to be the Osceola County School District. Anybody who said that before was not being proud of the entire picture. So I truly appreciate you being here, whether you agree with the resolution or not. I'm happy to hear you speak. I'm happy to have the dialogue, and I look forward to hearing you later on. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to start, and I kind of edited on the fly, with just telling you, Dr. Shanoff, thank you for your participation with FADS. I think it's really important that you connected with an organization that can help you grow as a superintendent, and also with you stating that Dr. Burns was there. Really thank you to any of our administrators, our staff, people who work for us, who connect in with their professional organizations that help them grow and learn and take on those leadership roles within them, because that's always a volunteer position. And so taking on something outside of what you're doing as paid work for us just shows your commitment and your passion for whatever it is that you're doing, whatever field you're in, like Dr. Burns in arts. And that really shows Osceola off in a really good way when others can see what we're doing here and that you've really invested in your career. So I really appreciate the people that are taking their time to do that. And so I just wanted to add that to my positive comment today. In addition to that, I attended Arts Alive this past weekend. Ms. Castillo was in attendance as well, so she might be sharing about that also during the positive comment, but it was such an amazing time, amazing performance. One of my daughters went with me last year, and this year both of my daughters went with me because we were just talking so much about how much we had enjoyed last year and wondering if there were going to be certain performances. My favorite, by the way, is the girl that does the little trapeze type thing. And I think she did it last year as a junior and then this year as a senior. And so it was just amazing to see. And I think she was one of the scholarship winners for her, yes. So the joy in their faces when those scholarships were presented, all of them being excited for each other and things like that. And the fact that they actually get also the almost like I'm trying to think, the training after the fact. So all students get some workshop opportunities and things like that. So even if they didn't win a scholarship in their category, they can continue to hone their skills and their art and things like that. So I really enjoy that every year. Finally, I do have a presentation for one of our employees, and I could assume that this employee is probably sitting there thinking, I don't want any more recognition because he's gotten a lot lately, but he really does deserve it. So this is for Joseph J.B. Brown at Narcoossee Elementary School, the head custodian. He was actually one of our top 10 finalists for School-Related Employee of the Year this year as well. And we received an email from his principal, Ms. Honeycutt, last week in regards to the fact that he saved a student's life on campus last week. And during the day when this incident happened, he saved the child, sent the child off to the nurse with someone else, and went right back to his job and didn't even tell anyone about it. So, he truly is an unsung hero, a role model to really set a great example for our students. And so I just wanted to recognize him one more time, because honestly, the fact that he went above and beyond in saving this child's life and then didn't even care to tell anyone that he had done something like this, because that's just truly who he is, I think, from the little bit that I've got to see over the time he was awarded, a top 10 finalist, and through this story and things like that. So I want to invite JB up and Ms. Honeycutt to present JB with Would you like to say anything, Ms. Honeycutt?
I can just say that JB is amazing, and the only reason we even know that he saved this girl's life the other day is because the nurse told us. He just turned around, he called the cafeteria monitor over and said, hey, can you take her to the nurse? And then he turned around and just kept cleaning the floor. And so we pulled the cameras and watched it all just because, we wanted to. But it's pretty amazing. He is, I had to apologize to him. I said, I'm sorry, but I sent an email. And he's like, oh, geez. But he's amazing, and everybody would be so lucky to have him at their school. Mr. Noble brought him over there, and I inherited him, and so I'm really lucky. So,
I actually
great
thought
guy.
too, a little saying you could have is we could all be thinking be like JB,
Yeah.
as
There
we're
you go.
doing our things throughout the day, because I think you're setting a really good example for
He really does.
what we
He's
could
amazing.
be doing to show our students.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to concur with your comments about Arts Alive. I did attend with you. Since you talked so much about the students and their talent, I do want to recognize some of those that made that possible. There's always so many community members, commissioners. Every single commissioner actually donated to the scholarship fund this time. Business leaders who donate. And the reason why those students are all able to go to those workshops is because, did y'all raise a record number of funds this time?
Yeah, I think it was like $30,000.
$30,000. So I just want to, aside from thanking you and the students who are very talented, also the community members who are always investing in our students, really truly appreciate that. It is April, which means that summer is coming. So parents, remember that there are tons and tons of things your kids can do over the summer. One specific thing I wanted to call out was Neo City's STEM camp for rising 3rd and 8th graders, and that's going to be happening between June 24th and June 27th. If y'all want to go ahead and take a look at that, but there's going to be so many camps, it is not too early to start thinking about summer camp. And I also wanted to call out that last week was National School Librarian Day, so I wanted to give a shout out to all of our media specialists. Thank you for all the work that you do in providing students with a place for their imagination and their learning, and that's all I have.
Very much. With that, we're going to move on to our fine arts moment, which is again students from a string trip at St. Cloud High
Oh, this is mine. Oh, yeah. Of course. I guess I don't.
Now we are on to the School of Osceola County OVC Winter Champions, JROTC County Competition Champions, female state champions for weightlifting, and team state champions for individual state.
It's a handful, that's for sure. Thank you for allowing us to be here again. This is an extension of what we did in the fall when we recognized our fall athletic OVC conference champions. And tonight we do bring back our winner, but we also have some state champions that we will be recognizing this evening as well. So we have a lot of kids out in the hall that we're going to bring them in, so we'll get going. If I could have Dr. Shanoff, Madam Chair, if you don't mind coming down for some photos. Can I slide this back? Is it All right, our first group that we have coming in tonight is from St. Cloud High School. This is the Unified Special Olympics basketball team.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
We have here tonight with us, we have head coach John Stump, his assistant coaches, principal Nate Fancher. They are not only your 2024 Unified State Champions, they were the #1 seed heading into the 2A state tournament. They were district and regional champions. The program has been around for 9 years, where they have competed in 6 Final Fours, and they have captured their 3rd state championship there this year, our only team in Osceola County that has 3 state championships to it, and they will be participating in May at the Florida State Games over at Wide World of Sports. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. If you've never seen Special Olympics basketball, I would strongly encourage you to do so, because it is the greatest form of basketball that you're going to see out there, watching these kids, these partners and players competing together. It is exactly why we have athletics. So congratulations and good luck to you in May, okay? We'll look forward to coming down and watching you compete.
Sounds like
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll send it. You're good. Yep, thank you. All right, next we have from St. Cloud High School, we have their girls basketball program head coach Chad Ansbach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
The St. Cloud Bulldogs, their basketball team this year had a 22-7 record. Not only were they the OVC champions, but this is their 3rd championship in a row, 5th out of the last 6. Not getting the 6th because of our COVID year. We could not have a champion that year. They advanced to the 2nd round of the FSA Regionals, and 3 of their players, seniors, Haley Collins, Emily Lockley, and Ziggy Mantilla, have all earned opportunities to compete at the next level. And they will be going to college next year playing basketball.
I believe one of the young ladies is also the lead in the musical coming out next week.
Oh, Mamma Mia?
Mamma Mia next week and the following week.
I apologize, that was not in my notes. So thank you.
And Emily's our valedictorian.
Oh.
That was also not in my notes. Next, we have the boys basketball team from St. Cloud High School.
Oh, here we go.
Their head coach, Tommy Billeteri, cannot be here tonight. He's actually coaching another sport for St. Cloud. We are in our spring OVC championships, where we are going to crown boys volleyball, softball, baseball, and track this week. So we're very excited to see what that happens. But here we have some boys players. Their team went 19-7, their first OBC championship since 2001. They advanced to the 6A regionals where they lost to the #1 seed and eventual state runner-up Edgewater by 5 points. I still think there needs to be an investigation on Edgewater. We're a little edgy what's going on over there.
I'll check it out.
I'm sure their former principal had something to do with that, so we're going to look into that. So, but anyway, congratulations, 2024's OBC champions, St. Cloud boys basketball. And next we have from St. Cloud High School, their girls weightlifting program. Head coach Corey On. They brought their state champs.
Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks, appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you too. Your name again?
Easily the largest girls weightlifting program in the state. They have over 70 girls in their program. But tonight, not only do we have the OBC champions, 13th championship in a row, 25-2 record this season, district champions, 3rd at regional, 6th at state. We have 2 very special guests here this evening. These are your 2 individual state champions in front of us. Ashley On, senior, was the state champion in traditional, and she was the runner-up in the Olympic lift. She will be attending UF next year. And we have sophomore Reese Butler. She was the 2-time state champion where she was in both traditional and Olympic. And as only a sophomore, blew the competition away, so we're certainly looking forward to next year. All that hard work in the off-season paying off. Coach On yelling at you, now you're good to go.
That's not right.
Congratulations.
Can she deadlift, Mr.
She
Fan?
probably could. Yes, she probably could. You're good. Thanks, good.
Thank you.
All right, next, from Harmony High School, we have their competitive cheerleading program. Head coach Danielle Curry.
Congratulations. Great job.
Oh, you guys got
We got ours.
Oh, wow.
They got all the gear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I got a lot of you. Thank you.
All right. Harmony Competitive Cheerleading, head coach Danielle Curry. They were not only the 24 OBC champions, they were also won the regional championship for the 2nd time in the school this year. They were also the 2A state runner-up in large all-girls tumbling, while also recently competing at nationals at Y World of Sports. Congratulations, Sauce. Did we prepare a cheer, or we just leave it?
Oh, they can do one.
No, I'm sure they could.
They were told to be loud, not by me. All right.
Congratulations, great job.
Thank you. Go for it.
Wait,
why?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
Two on the spot?
I can't even think of one right now. My brain isn't functioning.
You can
call one.
do your tryout cheer you're doing right now.
No, we
Wait.
Here we go, HHS. There you go.
Yes, do that.
Here we go. HHS. H. Here we go. HS. Oh yes. Here we go. HHS. H. Here we go. HS. Oh yes. Here we go. HHS. H. Here we go. HS. Oh yes. Here we go. HHS.
All right, if you guys win it next year, we'll be ready for that one, okay? All right, next from Harmony High School, we have the girls soccer program. Their head coach, Scott Marlega.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Harmony High School, your 2024 OVC champions, their second championship in 3 years and 11th in the last 14 years. They had a 13-4 record this year. They were the district champions, advancing to the FSA Regionals. Congratulations, Harmony. You're good. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have from Harmony High School, their boys wrestling individual state champion, Sean McAllister. Okay. Sean, stand right there, Sean. Yeah.
Right here.
Sean, I have a lot. Here you go.
Got it.
Sean is the 2020, not only the 2024 state champion, he's a 6-time All-American, a 3-time OBC champion, 3-time district champion, 2-time regional champion. Sean won 11 tournament championships this year with a season record of 47-1. His victories included wins over a 2-time state champion, a 3-time state, and 2 3-time state champions on his way to winning the 100. Oh, I didn't have what was your weight class?
157.
157 weight class, and Sean plans after graduation to become a career in firefighting. So congratulations, Sean. You want a better? You want?
Yeah, go.
Come on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice work.
All right, next we have from Celebration High School boys soccer. Their head coach, Lauren Osborne, principal Chris
Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job.
Go on. I was gonna say, go about the whole group. All right. Celebration Boys Soccer, head coach Lauren Osborne, principal Chris Todd. They are your 2024 OBC champions, their 3rd OBC title in a row, 6 in the last 8 years. They were also named district champions this year, and a neat stat for this program, they only allowed 10 goals all season, 0 goals given up in the OBC tournament. Congratulations.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let's go.
Next, from Celebration High School, Air Force JROTC.
Congratulations.
All right, we have head coach, Senior Master Sergeant Eduardo Hernandez. We might have to slide back a little bit and see if we can get 2 rows. We can get everyone in.
Guys,
It's just the short people in the front, like the people that were at the tip of the line.
good job. We're gonna
Look at that. That's it. Quick organized.
Yeah, there you go.
So we have our county cadet championship every October, and where all our schools compete against each other. Celebration, we compete in 9 different drills. They are ranged from physical fitness competitions along with some color guard drills that we do. They finished 1st or 2nd in 7 of those 9 competitions. They had 26 cadets win 1st place, 18 second, and 10 3rd place awards. But more importantly, not only were back-to-back winners for the school year of 23 or 24, but they were also the Florida State Drill Team champions, and the program received an in-person headquarters Air Force inspection in November, where they received 0 discrepancies, and 18 areas of the program were rated exceed standards, with an overall rating of exceed standards, the highest possible rating given by the Air Force. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. Well done.
Thank you,
As we say, dismissed. And last but not least, we have from Osceola High School, their boys and girls wrestling program. Their head coach, Rick Tribbett. In front of us, we have our 2024 OBC champions. They're second in a row for the boys, third in a row for the girls. They had a 19-3 record. They were district and regional dual champions. They were state dual runner-up. And then they were district champions and regional runner-up in the IBT, and they also finished runner-up in the state with IBT. And in front of us tonight, we have Anderson Heat. He was the 3A 150-pound state champion. Overall, he had a 58-5 overall record, 215 overall for his high school career. He is a 3-time state champion, a 4-time finalist. He was the Knockout Christmas Tournament champion, and if you've ever seen Knockout, it's one of the top wrestling tournaments in the country on the east side. He was Flow Wrestling's number 17th nationally ranked wrestler. He is 10th in his class with a 3.9 GPA and a 4.3 weighted, and he has signed to compete at Davidson College next year. And the other gentleman we have with us is Vandir Sharapov. He is the 3A 132-pound state champion. He had a 32-6 record. He was the OBC district and regional champion. He is also a Pan Am and world champion in Jiu-Jitsu. Congratulations. Sorry. That's a lot of medals.
All right.
Thank you. You're good, guys. We got a picture. Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. You don't need to keep it. We're good. Yep, thank you. So, board, again, thank you for the opportunity to be here. We look forward to coming back late May or early June, where we'll recognize our spring OBC champions, and hopefully we'll have some more individual state champions that we can bring back. So thank you for your time.
At this time, we're moving on to 2.03. Mr. Aguayo, I will have you read your resolution.
So this resolution addresses an issue that many families have raised, the concern
Mr.
that,
Aguayo, can I ask that you read the resolution first? We'll listen to you.
actually, don't we have to allow public comment first on this?
You're gonna read it, we're gonna do public comment, and then you can have your discussion items.
Whereas the school district of Osceola County is a public service responsible to the community it serves, and whereas public education is essential to an informed citizenry, the formation of our democratic society, and whereas the school district of Osceola understands that schools are required and should be safe for all children under all circumstances, and whereas our duty lies in preventing the promotion of political agendas, and whereas the American flag and the flag of the state of Florida have no affiliated agenda with the exception of promoting our national ideals and are both required to be flown on campuses by statute, and whereas special interest flags have invited more controversy than conviction and more division than discussion without adding to the educational environment or outcomes, and whereas the aim of this resolution does not aim to limit any private individual's expression of private speech or ability to exercise rights protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, nor extend to buildings or campuses where no instruction takes place. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the school district of Osceola County will only allow the American flag and the flag of the state of Florida, or representation of flags to be flown or displayed on school campuses and facilities where instruction takes place, and no other badge, flag, sticker, or symbol representing a special interest group or group with an affiliated political or social agenda to be displayed, including political, partisan, religious, racial, sexual orientation, or gender identity outside of an approved and temporary short-term display for educational purposes when aligned with Florida educational standards.
Thank you. We're going to open this up for public comment now. Laura McAdams, please remember to state your name and address when addressing the board.
Good evening. My name is Laura McAdams and I live in St. Cloud, Florida, 34772. Good evening, board. By now, I'm sure you know the side of this issue that I fall on. No surprise there. What is surprising, however, is that you continue to resist the will of this community and you continue to out yourselves as the type of people who simply refuse to protect our children and the damaging materials. For more than 3 years now, beginning with mask mandates, and now with the American Library Association and pride flags, we would have thought that you would have come to an understanding that majority of parents do not want children to be sexualized or tax dollars to be used in support of grotesque organizations with political philosophies, agendas, and ideologies that have not only been proven by history, but are wholeheartedly rejected by the citizens of Osceola County. Yet you continue to show cowardice instead of bravery, contempt instead of humility, and arrogance instead of leadership. What will it take for you to understand the vast majority of people are offended? Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, are offended by the idea that a school district would circumvent the role of the parent and insert itself, whether it be sexualized topics or political ideologies, to our children when we send them here to learn. And you are only doing that to the very worst because we're 66th in the state. Please show some respect for the community and sever the ties between the American Library Association and end the blatant political indoctrination of our children by removing flags we all know are designed to make a political statement. When American flag and our Florida state flag are the only flags that should be up there. If we allow any other flags, then maybe we should consider putting the rest of the flags up there. Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican, every other flag in the country that wants to be put up there, we should have it all together. So, thank you.
For time's sake, I am going to ask that we keep the clouding between because we have a lot of people and I would like to get to everybody in a timely manner. So if we could respect that, that would be great. Next up is Egan Carter.
Hi, my name is Egan Carter. I live in Kissimmee, Florida, 34743. I think censorship is a very slippery slope. I am just absolutely amazed because when I came to Osceola County and started at Point Siena High School, the first thing I saw were a bunch of Puerto Rican flags. Did I know anything about Puerto Rico at the time? No. I guess that's part of that diversity, equity, and inclusion that some people have so many problems with. I just want to point out that the opposite of that would be conformity, prejudice, and exclusion, which I don't think is proper for any school district or any school to want for their students. I actually don't think this resolution resolves anything. I don't know who has a problem with flags. Also, some would argue that the American flag is a political symbol. The Florida flag is a political symbol. Any flag is a political symbol. I mean, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna allow autism awareness flags on campus now because it's a political symbol. We're gonna take away the stickers that are on teachers' classrooms that say they're a safe place because we don't care about LGBT students. That's not what democracy is about, and it's certainly not what public schools are about. Hi. For the record, this is on YouTube, but thank you. I I think this is actually not about schools or kids or teachers, flags, books. I don't think it's about any of this. I think it's a political stunt for certain politicians to try and raise money. And I'll end with this. Good luck winning an election in Osceola County by banning the Puerto Rican flag.
Thank you. Angelica McKinney.
Angelica McKinney, 7060 Branch Course in South Florida 34771. I really don't have a big speech put together, but what I wanted to say to you is that I've been here for over 30 years, so I actually became a U.S. citizen. I am a naturalized citizen, so what represents me is this flag right here. Now, if I was born here, U.S. citizen for being born here, they will have in this flag. Right here. Not much different. Now, if any kid that is born boy or girl and later on decides to become gay or lesbian, this one right here will represent them too. If they decide to identify as a cat tomorrow, this one right here is also going to represent them. This one will also represent every single person that comes here, whether it's from Colombia, Venezuela, any other country that goes through the process and becomes a U.S. citizen. This flag right here. And I don't know if you noticed it. It looks the same. It represents every single person. It represents whether you are black, brown, white, any race. This one right here is going to represent anyone. If you decide to go against nature and change your sex, also this one is going to represent you. If you're a cold person, angry person, like to drink 40 ounces cup of coffee in the morning from Wawa, Dr. Channel, this one also will represent you. So for anything that I miss, this flag is going to represent anyone that is a U.S. citizen, and this is the one that is going to unite everyone. Anything else that is broad, just for a specific group, is only going to be used to segregate in the name of inclusion, because unfortunately that's what they use. They use inclusion to segregate, and we already passed that long time ago. So please unite behind this flag, because this is the only American flag that represents everyone in this room, everyone that is behind me, every student that comes to Osceola County, every American citizen is this one, and that's it. Now, if you guys, would you like and take one flag from you today?
Chris Botnott, last call. Carmen Knight. Oh, sorry, thank you. Chris, I'll call you after Carmen. Go ahead, Carmen.
Carmen Diane Knight, St. Cloud, Florida, 34771. I just kind of want to reiterate what my colleague said. By allowing different flags in our schools, we are also need to think about what can of worms that is going to open. That could open different religions. They have their own flags, so why not have those flags in the classrooms and on school campuses? Pro-Hamas flags, why that would be there right there with them. So I think we really need to consider what this will do in the future and what this can open up in the future. So please consider to do the right thing.
Chris Botnott.
Following directions.
Good evening. My name is Chris Fontenau, and I am the Executive Director of the Osceola County Citizens Defending Freedom. My address is 1060 Gary Drive in St. Cloud. I'm asking you to support this resolution to prohibit any flags or flag representations other than the American flag to be displayed on school district property. It goes without saying that any flag other than the American flag, which represents all Americans, should be the only flag permitted in classrooms. Any other flags are a distraction from the learning environment and singles out groups of students. My support of this resolution is in no way to offend or discredit any groups of people, but to show love, support, and respect of this great country. This district needs to redirect the focus on learning and not other ideologies or agendas. This is the United States of America, which is the greatest country in the world. Thank you.
Nate Douglas. Nate Douglas. Last call for Nate Douglas. Matthew, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Krochalski.
Hi, my name is Matthew Grholski, a 20-year-old student organizer, and I fight every day with LGBT students across the state. This proposal is a school board equivalent of HB 901, a bill I testified against this legislative session, a bill that was legislated on hate. In response to my testimony, I even had a hate article written specifically about me. It appears that hate is everywhere, from Tallahassee to Kissimmee. This proposal was not embedded in love or compassion. Students everywhere across the state stand with equality, and they stand for their LGBT friends. Pride flags aren't political. They're flags to showcase to students that we have a space for them. It allows students to feel at home in a classroom. This isn't sexualization. That is compassion. Members, kids are dying across this state. They're dying across the nation. 7.6. Transgender teens are 7.6 times more likely to commit suicide than cisgender teens. In my high school years, hell, I'd say even in my 2 years of college education, I've had so many trans and non-binary friends express suicidal ideation caused mostly by the stigma that is afloat in our communities, especially in the state of Florida. Hell, one of my best friends, Kendra, she wants to move from the state because of the hate that is embedded in our communities. I don't know if I'd even be alive if it wasn't for her. And now she might move away because of what is going on here. Stigma that is directly correlated with these forms of proposals that you're seeing today. Members, to serve in this body, you take an oath to support our student population until your very last breath. Remember that oath. Remember that oath when you see pictures of Next Benedict or any other trans or non-binary student in Florida or across the United States that have been murdered or killed because of suicide, because of bigotry in our community. Thank you.
Tammy Fitzgibbons.
My name is Tammy Fitzgibbon. I'm in Kissimmee, Florida. The American flag is a symbol for our great country. It shows respect for the United States, its people, the laws, and traditions. By putting this flag in the classroom, it sends a message to our students that they should have pride in their country and show respect for the ones who fought to serve it. They sacrificed so much. We all should be proud of our flag and not only display it at home, but also in our classrooms. We also need to say the Pledge of Allegiance in each one of our schools every day. We don't need other flags that hold on no value, such as the political flags of Biden and Trump, Black Lives Matter, or the LGBTQ flags. We need a flag that promotes unity among our students. It's to show them that everyone is a part of our nation and we work together. The American flag displayed in the classroom and schools doesn't send a message of it sends a message of differences. We have enough division in the world. And with that, I'd like to say to John and Julius, thank you for your service. I will never be able to imagine the things you guys have done and the sacrifices you have made to allow us to remain free, besides to display my American flag at my home and to say thank you.
John Labriola.
Good evening. John Lambriola, Inverness 34453. And I would like to encourage all of you to vote for this excellent item. As you all know, the Florida legislature in this last session had an opportunity to vote for a resolution that would have addressed exactly the area that this particular resolution addresses. And unfortunately, it was blocked in the Senate. So by passing this, you will be embracing that exact resolution. You will be telling the people of your district that the American flag and the state flag are appropriate symbols that your people, your students will be able to embrace. So there was mention today about Next Benedict. Next Benedict was not killed because they were transgender. So let's address that. Next Benedict was not killed because they were transgender. So once again, we're here today to ask you to please vote yes, to vote up on this particular resolution, to basically to address the idea that we are in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Z. Nelly Hernandez.
Zena Lee Hernandez, 2929 Moonstone Bend, Kissimmee. Let me start by saying that Member Aguelo have submitted a few resolutions in the past that the community, not only in his own district, but your guys' district too, have been in favor of, and he has been voted down. And there are resolutions that the community strongly supports. So I'm here to support the resolution to only allow the American flag and the flag of the state of Florida to be displayed at our public schools. Everything else is just noise. No other political flags, ideological flags, special interest flags, etc., unless you're willing to display all religious and all countries' flags there as well, and anything else that anyone can think about. Please, let's stop the insanity and let's focus on teaching. Stand for something good, something pure. I want to quote a prayer by Peter Marshall, U.S. religious leader, and he prayed, "Give to us clear vision, O Lord, that we may know where to stand and what to stand for. Because unless we stand for something, we shall fall for everything. I stand with the American flag." Please vote yes.
Amen.
Thank you. Jen Cousins.
I'm just curious, do y'all find it really professional for him to be on the dais? Jen Cousins, 32828. He's on the dais filming, smirking at the audience.
Can you just read your statement and address?
Sure, but this is really unprofessional. Since a settlement the state reached regarding HB 1557, also known as Don't Say LGBTQ, opponents have been coming up with ways to work around the terms the state agreed to in their quest to continue the erasure of LGBTQ+ students and educators from our schools. The resolution on school district flags being introduced tonight is a prime example. Where the resolution states schools should be safe for all students, its intent to ban safe symbols for LGBTQ+ students is in direct opposition of that statement. It also claims that the district must prevent the promotion of political agendas, yet the existence of LGBTQ+ students and educators is not political. No human's existence is political. Neither is the pride flag any more political than the American flag. As is often the case, when people choose to write resolutions or bills like these, their intent to be malicious towards marginalized communities overrides their common sense on what they're proposing. This resolution, as written, would also mean that foreign language classes could not be allowed to permanently display the flags of the country whose language they teach. It would also bar the advertising of high school Democrat and Republican clubs, Christian clubs, and those like the Hispanic Honor Society. As we witnessed in Tallahassee earlier this year, Floridians are sick of the culture wars stoked by the far right and are ready to move on to legislating real issues. This resolution appears to be based on a failed bill that died in the Florida legislature earlier this year and was even denounced by the Republican president of the Senate, Kathleen Passidomo. This board should be focused on the same, and that includes allowing representation of queer acceptance on campuses when bullying against queer students is at an all-time high. A similar resolution was submitted to the Lake County School Board, and last night they refused to even agenda the item, let alone take a vote on it. GLSEN Central Florida vehemently opposes this resolution, and it's imperative that the Osceola School Board does the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna M. Muse.
Anna Muse, 1680 Taylor Ridge Loop, 34744. The only flag that should be displayed in any taxpayer-funded building should be the American flag or the state of Florida flag. Everything else should be banned. If not, you're gonna start seeing every flag under the sun in here. You have a Nazi flag. You want that in your schools? I don't. Palestine flag. All this nutty stuff has to stop. You don't want to open this up. It's just a can of worms. Thank you.
Thank you. Cameron Green. Cameron Green.
Good evening. I'm Cameron, 34744. I was a student in the Osceola School Board about 6 years ago, and when I was in high school, I used to wear a cross, and I would wear it to school every day. And under this resolution, that would not be allowed. That's deeply disturbing to me, and it's honestly as un-American as you can be. We're telling students they can't wear or display anything that resembles their belief or their identity. If I said that a country banned students from representing their religion or their political beliefs, it would sound like I was talking about an authoritarian country, not a country or a city in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Parker.
Oh, John, you put your camera down. Get my good side, okay? Good evening. Let's call this what it is, right?
Name and address.
Oh, sorry. Kevin Parker, Kissimmee, Florida, 34744. Let's call this resolution what it is. It's another attempt to silence queer voices in public school. It is a carbon copy of a failed bill from this year's past legislative session. What are we doing? There's so many more things that could be done than trying to ban a bunch of flags, which, by the way, no one's saying that you can't put up these flags. That's perfectly fine. Things that cause harm, that's a problem. But trans flags, all those things, they're not harming anyone. If anything, they're used to express that, where those things are, it's a safe place for them to be, so they don't have to be scared. LGBTQ students are scared. And it's a direct result of the legislation that's being passed in this state. Y'all could be doing so much better than this. And for the record, this doesn't just ban flags, right? It's gonna ban breast cancer awareness ribbons. It's gonna ban the puzzle pieces for autism awareness, crosses, crucifixes that people are wearing around their necks, Stars of David. This is an attack on freedom of speech of our students. We cannot do that. And everyone in here that I've heard speak so far on the other side has mentioned how great America is. Do you want to know why America is so great? Because of the diversity that makes this country what it is. You are erasing diversity from our public schools by putting through this resolution. So I urge you to please vote down on this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Michael.
Stephen Michael, 6940 Maverick Trail, St. Cloud, Florida. Question I have is, it needs to be begged here, why are we having this resolution? Why are we even discussing it? We're having a resolution because we've got so much division and identity politics going on in our schools today that it's leading us down and destroying our society. So I'm here to tell you that I think the display of the banner promotes homosexuality, and the fact that people want to do that, that's up to them to do it, but I don't think we need to be doing it in our schoolrooms. And to put a period at the end of the sentence, back in 2012, just 12 years ago, 3.6% of the population identified themselves as being homosexual. After Barack Obama displayed the displayed the colors of LGBTQ on the White House, and his successor mandated that all U.S. embassies overseas were to display the flag during the month of June, the banner. We now have a population that identifies themselves 7.6% as being homosexual. And to put the period at the end of the sentence, the Gallup survey, that same survey says that females, Generation X, between the ages of 18 and 26 now identify themselves, 29% of them, as being homosexual. Displaying that banner does have an effect. The only flag that I want to see displayed is the American flag and possibly our state flag. Thank you.
Luz Mendez.
Hi, my name is Luz Mendez, 340 Underwood Avenue, St. Cloud. I am here because I support the resolution to ban other flags and support only the American flag. As another person that spoke in favor of the resolution said, I'm also a U.S. citizen that not by birth, but by because I chose to, right? And I was naturalized over 20 years ago. Ever since I came to this country, I know that there's freedoms that allow our flag to be burned, and that to me was a horrific thing, because we're not respecting what this flag symbolizes, which is freedom, and all our troops, that go and sacrifice for this country. So, but it is your right to do it. However, in schools, we should be teaching our kids to unite around this flag, to respect it, to honor it. If you don't love your country, then who are you gonna love? Where are we gonna run to? We're supposed to be the beacon of freedom around the world. And yes, the LGBT flag, it is political. The agenda is indoctrination. If a teacher or a person in a school supports that agenda, this is a free country. Do it outside of the school, or outside of the classrooms. And people are talking about LGBTQ kids being scared. I don't see that. I think other kids are being bullied by the minority, and they're the ones scared because they don't agree with that, and they can't say anything. So we can't be ruled by mob mentality, and then these kids are being confused. These kids that have gender dysphoria need help. They don't need somebody in their fragile years, especially girls, to be telling them, oh yes, you are something that you're not. God made us men and women, and we should be proud of that. God made us perfect. This is what we need to teach our kids, okay? There was an article in the health section of the Daily Mail that says most gender-confused children grow out of it. Landmark 15-year study concludes, and it is true. And this has been known, and this is coming out as it's something new. No, it's not. A lot of these kids that are confused are being pushed, and some that are not even that confused, they're being pushed to think that this is okay, that this is cool, because they want to belong. However, when they get pushed to, and even parents, maybe not in this day, but parents to being forced to help the kids do these things, and then the kids regret it and commit suicide when they start shopping parts. Thank you.
Brian Green. Okay, let's pronounce your name. Okay.
Good evening, Brian Kirkus, 3675 Boggy Creek Road. One thing that unites us in Osceola County is our belief that every child deserves a world-class education. An education that allows them to reach their full potential and prepares them to be an active and informed citizen. In order for that to happen, children must feel safe, respected, and seen at school and in their classrooms. For too many children in Osceola County, that is not their reality. We see this reflected in the low student attendance rates countywide. There's plenty of research to show what causes students to disengage from school. They disengage when they don't have meaningful relationships with adults in school, when the school climate is unwelcoming, and when there is a lack of challenging and culturally responsive instruction. This resolution, even the discussion of the resolution, contributes to those factors. Students are a lot more aware than many adults give them credit for. And they know why certain members of the school board want displays of inclusion to be placed back in the closet. This resolution is an attack on the LGBTQ+ students and educators and their identities. Attacks like these are a contributing factor to the various vacancies we have in our schools, including the one I work at. It's time for everyone who lives and works in Osceola County to come together and focus on the issues that really matter. Let's take steps to make sure that every child feels more included, no exceptions. Let's focus on providing teachers with the resources and materials that they need and make our classrooms welcoming for every student. When we focus on these issues, then every child who calls Osceola home will be able to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Trotz.
My name is Jim Trotz. I live at 1650 The Oaks in Kissimmee. Let me clear up a couple things first of all. Diversity is not what made this country great. Honor, courage, and commitment is what did so. And that flag behind Mr. Arguello is not just some other flag. It's a flag that stands for all of those different things. So while we're on the subject, let's talk about this. This is really not about flags, what's going on here in this resolution. It's about an ideology. In our home, the rainbow represents God's promise. God's promise that the world is never going to end the world again. Kids come to school, it represents some sort of an ideal that I don't agree with and that my kids are not agreeing with because they are my kids and that's the way we raise them. The two conflict with one another. What we teach at home and what we see here in the schools and the ideology that goes along with it, they conflict with one another. It puts parents in the position of having to defend their views and their values. And more importantly, what it does is it puts our children in the position of having to choose between what their parents say in raising them and what the school administration, the board, and teachers say they have to do in school. Those things should never happen. Our kids should never be in that position. I don't want my kids to be in that kind of position. Now, our schools are not supposed to be the place for political ideology, social engineering, or anything of the sort. We send our kids to school so they can learn to read, write, do arithmetic, understand about social studies, and interact with one another. Our kids deserve to be able to come here and not have to worry about all the other conflict and the stuff that goes on. Our kids deserve to be able to come here and worry about the academics that they are required to learn about. Nothing more. So when we talk about flags and all the banning stuff that's going on and the ideologies, that's all a bunch of, I can't even say it here, I shouldn't, but the reality is that that's not what the school system is supposed to be for. I want my kids to come to a safe place. I want them to come to a place where they can learn. I want them to learn about honor, courage, and commitment. And that, my friends, is in fact diversity. Thank you for your time.
Carlos Burgess. Nate Douglas.
That's Nate Douglas, 32817. So, I grew up in a household that went to church every Sunday. It was a loving household. My mother's a public school teacher of 25 years, over 25 years now. And my dad's a small business owner. And both of them, migrate to America with the American dream. That's what it's all about. You can succeed in America despite coming from a different background, despite being someone who is not just a white straight male or someone who came from privilege in this country. You could succeed regardless. And my parents sent me to Apopka High School. And the fact is, despite me going to church every Sunday, or despite being told by certain folks, that it's wrong for a boy to like another boy, I ended up becoming part of the LGBTQ plus community because I couldn't control it. And well, the fact is that the reason why I'm here today is because luckily I grew up in a loving household. Luckily, I grew up going to a school where my peers and my parents and my teachers accepted me. And that's what's really important here. Right now, what you're doing is you're listening to the far-right extremists. You're listening to people who don't represent the American ideal. You're listening to people who drape themselves in the American flag, yet disrespect the right for people to have freedom of speech, freedom of other religious views, and freedom of other ideas that they just don't share. That, folks, is not American. That right there is false patriotism draped in fascism. That's what that is. It is a disgusting perversion of the American dream. And it's definitely not what my parents moved to America for. And that's definitely not what my parents have fought for when they moved to this country, when they swore to protect our country and to always stand up for our ideas. What we have right now is a hateful group that just wants a country that looks like them and thinks like them, and they want to get rid of everyone else. Well, here's the thing. I beg you. Well, I don't beg you. I command you, as an American who has a First Amendment right and the freedom of speech, do not let hate win. Do not let hate win. Love will always win. We will always succeed. The far right is going to tank, no matter how strong they seem today. We cannot let hate and fascism win. They're not patriots.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas. At that time, I have no more public comment. Mr. Arguello, you are recognized.
I'm recording because the vast majority of the time, the district does not display your faces when you're speaking, and I thought that this issue merited your faces to be displayed so that people could hear you. And if the district's refusing to do that because they don't like criticism, then I'm gonna do it myself. And that's the reason I was recording. So,
Where is that being posted?
first of all, let me just say this, there's no victim here. I know that there's people here who, they wanna be a professional victim. They're gonna be a victim under every circumstance. They're gonna play victim and run for office as a victim. I don't believe in victimhood. Nobody has a story that's so compelling in victimhood anymore. Listen, this is a first world country. You're talking about your parents coming to this country for this opportunity and so on and so forth. Same with my parents, okay? There's nobody here who has more diversity in their family than I do. That's not what this is about. You can pretend, but it's not gonna get you anywhere with me. I'm not gonna fall for that. But let me tell you what I will fall for. As a teacher, when you walked into your classroom when you were all children, what did the teacher have when you were a kid? They had the alphabet on that wall. They had math formulas, right? They had statements and definitions. Why did they have those things on those walls? They had them on the walls because they knew that when you weren't actively listening to a teacher, at the very least, you could stare at that wall and hopefully you would remember something. Now, we've replaced the alphabet, and we've replaced math problems, and we've replaced definitions, and we've replaced quotes with politics. You want to know why this district is so bad? It's not because teachers aren't working hard. It's not because the people in this room don't care. It's because cowards manage this district from protecting your kids at all costs. That's the reason. And that protection begins with preventing politics from being force-fed down the throats of your children like foie gras. You all need to come to the point where you can understand, I don't care what your ideology is, just as much as you don't care what my ideology is. When I go to bed at night, I make sure my daughter knows that God loves her, that her dad loves her, and that she's going to wake up tomorrow and she's going to learn. And my daughter today at 11 writes better than half of the adults in this county. Why is that? Because I don't take it the chance. So listen, if you want a teacher, and by the way, I'm a certified teacher. You want me in a classroom talking to your kid about what my beliefs are ideologically? Or do you want me to teach your kids something that is valuable to them to reach whatever his parents did? I know my parents reached success. They came here with nothing. With nothing. My father was the illegitimate child who was born on a dirt floor. He came to the United States, started a business without English, died speaking with an accent, but he didn't care. Nobody created my father's value for himself. And the same with my mother, who came here. I would not have even been allowed to be in existence if it weren't for this country. Nobody's going to tell me what the rules of this country are or what the ideals of this country are. Just like that person said, this flag represents everyone. And me as an individual, I fought for this country. I was willing to sacrifice my life for this country. I saw my brothers go down, black, white, gay, so on. I saw them all sacrifice their lives for their brothers for this country. I didn't see them do that for politics. I saw them do that for love and for hope and for patriotism. I know what patriotism means. And if that means for you that we're going to hang anything other than this in our classrooms, then you're the one that doesn't know what it means. I'm tired of the reasons that people come up with to think that their agenda is more important than your kid learning while taxpayers are forcing them to be in this classroom.
Thank you, Mr. Aguirre. Do you have a motion on this item?
I have a motion, and I would like to motion to approve this resolution so that our kids can finally, and our district can finally get on the path to removing all the distractions. So maybe we won't be 67 or 66 out of 67 in graduation rates. Maybe one day our kids will be above 50% in terms of proficiency. Maybe one day our kids won't embarrass you. Excuse me, I'm making my motion. Maybe you won't be embarrassed by your kid's diploma and it will actually have some meaning one day. And that will only happen when we put the politics aside and we start focusing everyone in this room back onto education and not on politics. And it doesn't matter what my views are personally.
Do we have a second on this motion?
Of course not, because there's nothing but cowardice here behind this dais.
Well, you're out of order. Is there a second on this motion? No second, this motion dies. We're on to 2.04. Mr. Aguirre, you may read your motion. Excuse me, we have a policy for decorum in this room. If you cannot follow this policy for decorum in this room, the officer will escort you out. Thank you, Mr. Aguirre, you may read your motion.
This is a resolution to sever our ties with the American Library Association. Whereas the school district of Osceola County is a public service responsible to the community it serves, and whereas public education is essential to an informed citizenry, the foundation of our democratic society and a constitutional republic, and whereas a commitment to teaching in an accurate, fact-based, objective, and non-ideological manner is in the best interest of our students, and whereas our best administrators, faculty, and staff serve as facilitators for student discussion without attempts to indoctrinate or persuade students to a particular point of view. And whereas our duty lies in protecting students' education from blatant political agendas, and whereas efforts to indoctrinate or instill political views is not the task of the school district of Osceola schools is charged with, and whereas the goal of the school district is to achieve the best possible result for every child, every chance, every day. And whereas the counties of Citrus, Hernando, Collier, Lee, Sarasota, Pasco, Santa Rosa, Lake, St. Lucie, Manatee, Charlotte, Flagler, Bay, Escambia, Hillsborough, and St. Johns County have all severed their ties in likewise manner. Now therefore be it resolved that the school district of Osceola County will completely and totally separate itself from the American Library Association and any of its affiliate organizations due to its pervasive view of using their platform to push for ideological and political purposes,
to include ceasing all dues, support, licenses, subscription, fees, partnerships, and vendor relationships.
Thank you, Mr. Arguello. I am now opening the floor to public comment. Please remember to state your name and address when you approach the dais, that you are speaking to the board as a whole, and that we do have a policy on decorum in this boardroom, and if you cannot follow that policy, you will be removed. Chair Batten.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Batten. It's 1015 Indigo Drive in Celebration. I come here as parent, grandparent now, foster parent, step parent. I got the whole parent thing covered. So I wanted to make a few comments on this resolution. When I first read it, it confused me more than it informed me. I personally think it's a flawed resolution. It's my understanding that the school district already has no formal relationship with the ALA. Is that true? And if so, why this resolution? And that was my big question to the why this resolution? So the resolution says, and it was just read, talks about an informed citizenry, and yeah, I'd say for our citizenry to be informed, why a resolution then limits the ability of our ALA members, our librarians, to actually be informed, to get certified, to provide information. If it's about information, I think the ALA is a good thing. The commitment to teaching in an accurate, fact-based, objective, not ideological manner is in the best interest of our students. Agreed. Excellent. But then what are the facts behind this resolution? One of the things that confuses me is who's sponsoring it? What's the vision? What's the endpoint? I know in the business world, we look to an endpoint. We have a vision. We talk about what are the strategies, what are the tactics, what are the objectives to meet that resolution. So that's not really clear to me. What does the endpoint look like? What would the world look like, and essentially, if this resolution were to pass? Also mentions for our staff to serve as facilitators for student discussion without attempts to indoctrinate or persuade them to a particular point of view. And I would say indoctrinate to what? Indoctrinate's a pet peeve word for me. Usually you have two groups and each thinks the other is indoctrinating. I'd love to see this resolution restated without the use of that word. It doesn't mean much. It really doesn't. There will always be multiple points of view. And I think it's educational to allow that. It's a duty lies in protecting students' education from blatant political agendas. It hit me with that, what political agenda? I looked at the ALA website and found it hard to find much in the way of political agendas. There's an effort to, there's the word indoctrinate again, efforts to indoctrinate or instill political views. It's not the task of the school district of Osceola County, and I agree with that, correct. It's the job of us as educators, and I'm a former educator. My personal opinion is to instill in each student the ability to think for himself or herself. Be able to look at a situation like this one and make up their own mind.
Thank you. John Labriola.
Oops, and I ran out.
Yes, sorry. Thank you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That was enough. Thanks so much.
Good evening, John Labriola. Inverness 334453, and I represent the Christian Family Coalition. I would like to encourage you all to vote for this particular resolution. And as somebody who lives in Citrus County and was one of the first counties to actually cut ties with the ALA, I would ask you to go ahead and do the same. There's really no reason why you should fund the ALA. The ALA is run by a Marxist lesbian, and so that's really not appropriate to have that kind of representation for our schools here. So again, please vote yes on this resolution, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris Fontenot.
Good evening again. Chris Fontenot, 1060 Gary Drive. I am here again to respectfully request the School District of Osceola County to join the other counties across the state of Florida to cease all dues, support, licenses, subscriptions, fees, partnerships, and vendor relationships with the school district and the American Library Association. The state of Florida has made it clear that the political agenda and ideologies pushed by the ALA have no place in Florida public libraries. SDOC ended the student all-access pass with the public libraries because there was no parental opt-in or out of mature content. So why would the Osceola County School District choose to support an organization that promotes books not suitable for children and attempts to transform librarians into social justice advocates? From the ALA's website under their intellectual freedom issues and resources, the ALA actively advocates and educates in defense of intellectual freedom. A publicly supported library provides free, equitable, and confidential access to information for all people of the community. I watched the June 7th, 2022 workshop book selection process by Michelle Jarrett. Unless there have been contractual changes, SDOC media specialists utilize multiple selection aids offered by the ALA, and per the January 11th, 2022 superintendent update, also embraces the ALA's intellectual freedom position. The president of the ALA has proudly declared herself to be a Marxist lesbian who has called for queering the catalog and has said libraries need to be a site of socialist organizing. We do not need this type of political activism being pushed into our schools, nor should we be spending taxpayer dollars on vendor contracts that use resources from this type of organization that helps with book selection in our school libraries. In closing, we know these resolutions will not pass because we do not have board majority. That is why voting matters. Elections have consequences, and we're seeing that tonight. Thank you.
Anna Muse.
Oh, forget it. You're never going to do anything about it.
C. Nelly Hernandez.
Hello again, C. Nelly Hernandez, 2929 Muslim Bend, Kissimmee. Mine, I'm gonna keep it short and simple because she said it all back there. And I know you guys are not gonna support this one either, but for the record, I support the resolution to sever all ties with the American Library Association. I am against continuing to use taxpayer money to pay their dues. This association has caused parents much pain and frustration. Our tax money can be redirected towards something that is more beneficial and positive for our young people. I could say go for it, but we know you're not going to. Thank you.
Thank you. Luz Mendez.
2040 St. Cloud, 34771. I'm here in support of the resolution and requesting to sever all the district's relationships with the ALA, the American Library Association, and cease all dues, support, licenses, subscriptions, fees, partnerships, vendor relations, etc. This organization is hell-bent on promoting LGBTQ indoctrination in our schools, and it should not be that our taxpayer dollars are used for this. As I said before, if you are in support of this style of life or this ideology, this is a free country, and it should be done outside of the school, not using our taxpayer dollars. This organization promotes all this, and pornography in the books that our kids read, especially when they're young. They should not be exposed to these type of things. If I showed a kid some pornography, I will be put in jail. Why is it allowed in our schools? And this is going on around the country. I think here is not as bad, and we have been trying to clean up our libraries, but that is still a problem. When we think this is normal, we need to cease all relationship with this organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Dylan Rensel.
Good evening, Board. Dylan Rensel, Plymouth Turtle Circle, St. Cloud. So, as I was reading and trying to understand the intention behind this resolution regarding the American Library Association, I have to admit that I was in agreement with many of the statements put forward. Some of those statements I agreed with included that public education is essential to an informed citizenry, that we are responsible for serving the community, that we should be committed to teaching in an accurate and fact-based manner, and lastly, that we are to strive to provide the best possible result for every child, every chance, every day. A person reading this resolution would be really hard-pressed to find something in those principles that they disagree with. However, I wholeheartedly disagree that the goals I mentioned are served in any way by the School District of Osceola County, quote, completely and totally separating itself from the American Library Association. In fact, in my view, we will move the school district further away from those goals if the resolution is adopted. I have the privilege of being able to interact with many of my fellow educators that are outside of my area of specialization, and one of those groups are our librarians and media specialists. And I must say the reaction about this particular resolution within that group is overwhelmingly negative. We continue to struggle as a district to properly staff our schools, and that is our biggest challenge to unlocking the maximum potential of our student achievement. The message that this resolution sends does nothing but make that problem worse. So let's be clear about the perspective that this resolution resides in. It resides in a perspective that believes that it is protecting kids, but fails to perceive its negative impact on them. It resides in a perspective that talks about community, but marginalizes some of the very people who live in it. And it resides in a perspective that claims to fight indoctrination by trying to eradicate certain people or ideas from being acknowledged. You know, one of my favorite quotes is that the key to an educated mind is being able to entertain a thought without necessarily accepting it, which means we can be exposed to ideas or people without necessarily accepting those ideas as our own. A person can read the Communist Manifesto and that doesn't make them a communist. A person can read about the basic tenets of a particular religion and that doesn't make them an adherent of that faith. What it does do is make them more aware of the world they live in and the people who live in it. We have to make an effort to understand. And having said all that, I do want to make clear that I don't, nor do I have to agree with everything the leader of the ALA does or says. And this board doesn't either. And we certainly have a responsibility to make sure books on our shelves are developmentally appropriate for our students. But we can achieve that goal without demonizing our media specialists for being part of a professional organization that has existed for almost 150 years. So with that, I urge the board to vote no on this resolution as we work to make a more productive conversation which acknowledges the expertise and concerns of our library professionals in concert with some of the legitimate concerns of our community members regarding books. Thank you.
Egan Carter.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Hi, I'm back again. Again, I don't think this resolution has anything to do with the American Library Association. We all know, as someone already stated, that the school district of Osceola County does not have any official ties with the American Library Association. And teachers outside of school are allowed to be members of any organization or association that they want because this is a First Amendment right, which we all learn in school. I got 3 minutes, and I want to point out that we have actual issues that need to be addressed in this school district. We could be talking about how there's so many teacher vacancies and how there's substitutes in a classroom year long. How about the fact that substitutes in Osceola County only need a high school diploma to be in the classroom? How about the fact that not all of our kids get free lunch? I feel like that's something we should offer our students to make things fair. No, again, we're talking about banning things, censoring things, saying that we know what information is the right information. Facts that you don't agree with doesn't mean it's indoctrination. Hate to tell you. Critical thinking is something we're all supposed to learn in school, and it's what makes us good citizens, which is the goal of education in a democratic society. By saying, oh, we don't want the information from that person or from that group because there's a person in that organization that has an ideology that we disagree with. There are people who have ideologies that we disagree with in every single organization, profession, career, school. Also, public schools serve the public. That includes all students, even the ones that you don't like or think have some political agenda by existing. So I would like answers to the questions that I proposed regarding the teacher vacancies, school lunches, substitute teacher qualifications, so that we can actually have a resolution about something that matters to our students and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. We are done with public comment. Mr. Arguello, you're recognized.
Yeah, it's funny to me that you mentioned being a good citizen, but when somebody came up there talking about pro-Palestine, you waved your fist up in the air pro-Palestine.
Yep.
So maybe for you, a good citizen is raping and murder, like what happened on January 7th.
That's slander. That's not allowed in this room. Please stop.
But I don't think that's good citizenship. And let me tell you something. There was a gentleman, his name is Mr. Fishback, and he did a study. And he realized that many students around the nation who were involved in a debate were disqualified when any time they were trying to put forth a right-leaning ideal, right? And I want to read to you a quote from him that he wrote. He wrote an article. It's great. I'm just going to read you a piece of it here, and I want you to understand, Mr. Reinsel, what a great. You're always very eloquent, very educated on the issue, but there's a part that you're missing here. School libraries systematically exclude books that challenge progressive orthodoxy. In a national average of school library collections, 75% of districts carry the Communist Manifesto. Only 8% carry Capitalism and Freedom by Milton Friedman. That tells you everything about what we have in our libraries. It's not fair. You're worried about indoctrination of the right. Nobody's ever complaining about that. Why? Because only 3% of the books have any kind of right-leaning materials. Let's not kid each other, okay? If media specialists, if they need the ALA in order to do their jobs, then we need to find different media specialists. Because I'm all about people who can decide based on what their community's needs are. And I'm not afraid to say that. I know people are going to get their feelings hurt about that, but you know what I want is a professional who can think for themselves and make something good happen for our kids without the interference of an organization which on its website tells you that their goal is to indoctrinate your kids. If you don't know that, then you're not doing the research. Go check it out. Go check it out. When our kids can get disqualified in debates because they're thinking about a right-leaning viewpoint, that tells you that your kids are being indoctrinated. You don't have to believe it. All you got to do is go and look. Go and look at what's happening in our education system. How well are your kids reading? How well are your kids doing? This is not an environment where your kids are getting everything that they can. And if you think that they're getting a perspective that is multi-level or has multi-dimensions or is complex at all, they're not. Okay? They come to school, and with the 15% they have left after sticking on their phones for 23 hours a day, it's wasted. It's wasted. Their views aren't being broadened here. I wish that they were. I wish that they were. Take some responsibility. Here's the thing. We had a workshop like one of the persons mentioned. And in that workshop, the librarian said that she believed that the school district should decide what your kids are reading. That's kind of important. That is really important for you to understand. Whatever your viewpoint is, that for some bureaucrat or some person in a district can overrule what your thoughts are, that should be a huge problem for you. And if it's not, then I guarantee you that your kid's probably one of the people that's not doing so well.
Because the parents who are involved in their kids' lives, especially in their education, are the ones who are ensuring that their kids are doing well. It's not because this district is great, because it's only now on the path to even being okay. So I would double check. Nobody is being indoctrinated to the right. Have you ever wondered about that? But I did have an email today by an assistant principal who used to have a Trump sticker on his car until a parent came and said, hey, listen, I don't like that Trump sticker. And he was like, yeah, but that's my First Amendment right. Yeah, but that's not your job. Your job is to make sure that you're caring for all these kids in a way that's going to broaden all of them. But that's not what you guys are asking for on the left here. You guys are asking for us to continue with the fake, narrative that your kids are, the ALA is perfectly innocent. We know that it's not. Let's not play games. All you got to do is go look at their website and you'll see. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to pass this resolution.
By Mr. Arguello, do I have a second? Seeing no second, this motion dies. Thank you. We are on to 3.01 agenda modifications. Dr. Shanoff, do you have any agenda modifications?
Yeah, I do, Madam Chair. We will be removing
Let's go.
Slanderous.
805.
Any other agenda modifications from you?
No other modifications, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Arguello?
11.01 and 11.02.
Thank you. Ms. Castillo? I need to get an approval on the modified agenda with us removing 8.05 and pulling 11.01 and 11.02 for discussion. And after that, we have two public comments on 7.01 before we accept the agenda as modified. So I just need
First your motion is modified, then you
So we need a motion to accept the agenda. A motion to accept the agenda as modified.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
Motion by Ms. Castillo. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Janab, yes?
We're having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
Can we take a 5-minute recess?
Sure thing, 5-minute recess. Resuming our meeting.
Nice to see you.
So we left off with doing the motion to accept the agenda as modified. I had a motion by Mr. Arguello, I believe. No, Ms. Castillo to accept the agenda as modified, a second by Mr. Arguello. Okay, do I have a second to adopt, so we have to do this part, then we do the public comment, and then we approve the agenda. They're two separate things, accepting the modified and then approving it. I think that's where we've had some issue in the past.
Okay, that's, yeah, all needs.
So
first there needs to be, you have all discussed how you want to modify the agenda. So at that point, you have to have a motion and a second to accept the modified agenda. You're not approving the modified agenda, you're just accepting the modified agenda. Then you would have the members of the public who are here to speak on consent provide their public comment, and then you would vote to approve or deny the consent agenda at that point. And it should technically be two steps. However, without a second to move forward.
I will second the acceptance of the modified agenda. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Aye. Oh, he's an aye.
Oh.
Are you?
For or against the acceptance of the modified agenda, Mr. Melendez? Thank you.
Can you instruct him to use aye or nay so that we know because of
That would be great.
Yes.
Can you please, Mr. Melendez, use aye if you are in favor when you are voting tonight, and nay if you are against, so that we can better understand since you are calling in.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you. With that, we have an approved amended agenda. I have two people to speak on 7.01. First up, Dr. Tony Garza.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Tony Arza with the Florida Charter School Alliance, Sarasota, Florida 34240. I want to thank the board and staff for recommending this item for approval. The Florida Charter School Alliance represents Bridge Prep Academy, and we support school choice, parents' right to choose where to send their child to school. I want to thank all of you for the work that you do to defend that parent's right. And there's a lot of parents in Osceola County who are grateful for the work that you guys do to make sure that they have schools, quality schools to choose from. I want to thank you for the accountability and the standards that you hold charter schools to, and we hold ourselves to. So I want to thank you, and we are in support of the item. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
We have a second comment.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Emmanuel Swift.
Good evening, Emmanuel Swift, Port Orange, Florida 32128, and I am the principal of Bridge Prep Academy, Osceola. And I want to take a brief moment to say, Madam Chair, Dr. Shanoff, and Dr. Clayton, Dr. Penalaza, and the team over in the Charter and Choice Office, thank you for your continued support, ensuring that all students have an equal opportunity for a quality education, as well as shout out to my Bulldogs. This is a continuation to striving, and Dr. Shanoff, you'll be happy with this statement. Bridge Prep Osceola is on our way to the A, the Bridge Prep way. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
As modified, do I have a second? Second. I have a motion by Mr. Arguello, a second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Melendez, are you in favor? All those opposed? Nay? Motion passes.
Is it 2-1 or 3-1?
It's 2-1. We didn't put it on the side.
Or no, it's 3.
Three.
Oh,
Three.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. That was the other
Sorry.
time. I'm sorry, Chair, when you did the accept the modified agenda, the vote was 4 people. To approve the agenda, now it's 3 people.
Yes, you would document that Mr. Melendez did not vote.
Wait.
Okay, Mr. Melendez, are you there?
Yeah, I continue.
Do you approve to, motion, or do you, I can't even think right now. Vote to approve the modified agenda?
Yeah, voting.
That was for Bridge Prep Days.
Well, it's all in one,
It's all in
it's all in one, it's a consent agenda.
Consent. Is what you just voted on.
We didn't pull it, so we were just they were just speaking on it. So that is a yes, Mr. Melendez?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. We are now on to information items, 10.01. We have no presentation on this. Do I have a motion to approve 10.0? Do we need a motion?
No, it's just an information item.
Sorry. We are on to regular curriculum now. We have. Mr. Arguello, you were recognized for 11. Well, we have comment on this. We listen to comment first before Mr. Arguello. Zinelli Hernandez, 11.01.
Jeez, I'm talking so much tonight. Zinelli Hernandez, 2929 Moonstone Bend, Kissimmee. And so I strongly oppose sending any of our school counselors and or teachers to the upcoming ASCA National Conference or any conference hosted by this organization. I have seen some of their previous conferences, and it is very obvious that they are a woke organization that promotes everything that we, the majority of parents and grandparents, oppose, and also goes against Florida legislation regarding wokeness and parental rights. I oppose any tax dollars going towards supporting their deceiving agendas. Whatever they are promoting for school counselors, those individuals cannot come back and teach those who apply it at their job. So what is the point? Our children are in real trouble and need true solutions to help them navigate these very hard and challenging times in their lives. They do not need any more promoting or promotion of delusions, because if we let the blind lead the blind, they all will fall down. I'll leave you with this. Remember this: blessed is the one who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Psalms 1:1 and 2. Thank you.
Mr. Arguello, you are recognized.
So one of my concerns, aside from, I don't think I need to comment any further, I completely agree with the young lady who just spoke. However, I also have a problem with the request for I'm trying to pull it up here. Say again?
Hansbrough?
Yeah. But okay, so we're spending $4,000 per person to send someone to a conference that is very similar to another conference, which is right here locally, right? So we could spend a total of maybe $1,000 or less. It looked like it was less to me, but who knows what it is, to send them to a conference right here where our former guy used to work in our office, is on the leadership board, which I learned just by going up on the website. And instead we're bypassing that, and we're gonna spend $8,000 to send them across the country to a different conference at a cost of $8,000. It's the most expensive conference that I would be approving as a school board member that we've ever sent anyone to. $8,000 to send a community relations person. Okay, we're gonna send a teacher to a conference where they're gonna become the world's greatest teacher in the history of the world. I'd pay $1 million for it. But to send our communications around the conference that's happening local, to send them to Seattle or wherever this is, Seattle. Come on, we're not in the business of sending people on a sightseeing tours. That's what this is. This is not stewardship of the people's money. This is not how taxpayers should be spending their money. This is not what they're expecting from us. I know that somebody's gonna turn their light on and say, oh, we really need to send these people to this, conference out there in California. But just like she just said, the last speaker, we're constantly sending people to places that there's no value. They're not bringing anything back. So why are we wasting our taxpayer dollars? Why do we do that? We don't have the money. I don't know if anybody knew this, but we're becoming less and less competitive as demonstrated by our enrollment. So it begins with how we spend our money. And if we're not going to be stewards who have sworn an oath to be stewards of the taxpayer money, then we're just going to, how can we create a level of confidence for the community to have in us? So I'm not a big believer in sending people on sightseeing tours, no matter where it is, or whatever justifications that they have. In the end, we've had many contracts where we could never justify, well, is this $1 million going to be spent well? No, okay, we already know it's not. Why did it get approved? Well, it got approved for these other reasons, right? The reasons that school districts in general are not doing very well. So I absolutely am against this, and I will not vote for it.
Madam Chair, motion to approve 11.01. I have a motion to approve 11.01. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second motion by Ms. Castillo, a second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 11.02.
Yes, this is, we have our wrestlers who are going to the great state of Iowa for our wrestling camp, and I just wanted to wish them Godspeed. I'll be praying for you. Be careful driving that van out there. So let's get some more state championships out of this vacation here for these guys. Not vacation, this trip. So God bless you, Godspeed. Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Agoya, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 12.01. Motion to approve, Madam Chair. I have a motion to approve 12.01 by Ms. Castillo.
Second.
A second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
I'm sorry?
He was not.
Yes. Motion passes. Motion to approve 13.08. Motion to approve 13.08.
Second.
A second by motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are you voting yes or no, Mr. Well?
Aye.
Thank you. 14.01, we are open for public comment. I only have Jordan Rivera left.
Jordan may have left. He's gonna send an email.
Okay,
But
so,
I think he left already.
alright. We are on to the attorney's comments.
I have no report this evening, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At that time, we are adjourned.